Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Devils. Danny here giving you more of the latest Manchester United news. And we've got more news, of course, on Rasmus HOJLUND. Fred, looks like Fred could be set to leave very, very soon. And we've got some news on Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. And we might round it out with a bit of news on Amrabat at the end. But just before we get into the news, if you don't mind, hitting that subscribe button, that will do me a huge favor. I'm trying to get up to 600 subscribers. We're not too far away now. So if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Anyway, let's just get into the news. So Fabrizio Romano, about 2 hours ago, tweeted about Rasmus HOJLUND. Here, I'll read his tweet for you. Understand Man United, let's say Manchester United, have scheduled new round of talks with Atalanta for HOJLUND. It will happen this week after a 60 million euro package bid. I'm assuming that got rejected. Man United remain favorites after 5-year deal already agreed with the player's priority. PSG pushing, but current bid falls short of Atalanta expectations. Now, there's also been other news regarding PSG and HOJLUND. So this is another tweet coming from Fabrizio Romano saying, the only way Rasmus HOJLUND joins PSG is if the deal to Manchester United collapses. But the deal is absolutely on and as absolutely advanced. So it looks like now any day, any hour, this deal could be finished. I know we've been saying this over and over again, but he has literally just said himself, absolutely advanced. So I wonder how advanced that is. If he's saying absolutely advanced, I'm sure it's very, very close. We all know they want 60 to 70 million euros for this guy. So I'm assuming we'll stick with that 60 million euro, price that we've actually want to pay up front, and then maybe another 7 to 8 million in add-ons, and that should seal the deal. But this should happen extremely soon, maybe by the end of the weekend if we are lucky. I would expect next week for sure. He is here we go by Fabrizio Romano, and maybe by the end of the week next week when we're back in the UK, the tour is done, and we've got just a few games left, I think against Bilbao and I forget who else. He should be ready to go. He should be into the squad, signed, ready to go to play at least one of those two, if not both of those last preseason games. I think it's two. I can't remember. I'll have to look at the schedule again. But yeah, I would say this deal is actually getting to the point where we can say imminent. I would say within the next few days, it should be done, resolved. So, but just because they have PSG lurking in the background as well in case something does fall through, and I don't think they want to let this deal fall through or let Rasmus HOJLUND start to get too many eyes from PSG, if that makes any sense. So this deal should be done, signed in a couple days with Atalanta, then done with he's already agreed, so it'll be done with Atalanta, then he'll come over, sign his contract. I'd say by the end of next week, expect a new striker for Manchester United. We haven't said that in a very long time. I should say a new young striker for Manchester United. We haven't said that in a very long time. But yeah, very exciting things right now with Manchester United and the striker department. We do need one more. I am still looking at Harry Kane, but I gotta see what happens with our outs. And speaking with outs, we've got a few outs happening. So let's talk about Fred. If you don't know, I reported last week that Galatasaray came in with a bid for Fred. It was an absolute joke. It was only a 6 million euro bid, which is ridiculous, man, for Fred. And I'm glad we turned it down. It shows that we occasionally can have a bit of backbone about us. But yeah, 6 million was absolutely laughable. But there's just a new article coming out of the Express today saying Galatasaray vice president Erden Timur is understood to have flown to England on Wednesday night in a bid to push through the signing of Manchester United's midfielder, Fred. So it looks like this deal could also happen very soon. We know they've just signed Wilfred Zaha and Mauro Icardi, so there could be a nice little team building up there. Mauro Icardi is pretty decent, but Zaha is pretty is a top talent, and I rate him. But yeah, it looks like he will be off. I think we're gonna, try and negotiate to get at least around 15 to 18 million, maybe even a 20 million euro fee or pounds. I don't know what they're trying to go for here, but it just can't be 6. It can't be anything less than 15. He's a decent player. He's on his last year, but he is decent. A lot of players on their last year go for, around this price, if not even more for a player of Fred's caliber. He's good. He's just not Manchester United level. So let me know what you think there. Is Fred going to Galatasaray? I think he is. And this could easily pave way for the person we'll talk a bit at the end. I think you know who we're talking about. Anyway, Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay on to West Ham. This is actually coming out of Sky Sports. So I'd say this is a very reliable source. So West Ham hold talks with Manchester United over the England center back and Scott McTominay. Blah, blah, blah. Harry Maguire was recently stripped of the captaincy. We all know this. And we all know that West Ham have a lot of money at the moment. They just sold Declan Rice for 100 million, right? But they are looking for a Declan Rice replacement. They've had a big bid rejected by Fulham for João Palhinha. And they're also in the center back department. I think West Ham signing these two players is perfect. Not just for us, but for West Ham as well. I think they are perfect West Ham players, especially Harry Maguire. I think he would suit that team to the T. He is a David Moyes style player, a guy that likes to have the defense sit back, not play high up. Has a decent ping if he needs to over the top for a counterattack. He's a decent counterattacking defender. Just sit back and counter. Scott McTominay, definitely can see him playing for a team like West Ham. Very energetic, high intensity. The only thing is, I just don't know how willing he is. I don't know if he can fill Declan Rice's boots. Declan Rice doesn't mind having the ball. Scott McTominay doesn't really strike me as someone who enjoys really having the ball, but he enjoys getting it back and has a decent shot on him. He's not bad in front of goal, to be honest, for a midfielder. But when it comes to showing for the ball, wanting the ball, playing a decent pass, I'm not quite sure he is, what they're going to expect as a replacement for Declan Rice. But nonetheless, they'll do well. I think they have that other, Luis Paqueta. So I think if he is one just feeding him, I think it's that guy, the Brazilian dude. If Scott McTominay can just be the guy winning the ball and feeding that ball, I think it'll work just well. Again, both decent players, but not Manchester United level. So yeah, that's coming out of Sky Sports, actually. So there's been lots of talk, actually, over the last 24, 36 hours about Scott McTominay. Not as much about Harry Maguire possibly going, but Scott McTominay has had a lot of interest from West Ham. And I would say at least one of those looks likely to happen. And I think out of the two, it will be Scott McTominay. I just don't know if we'll be able to grab another center back to replace Harry Maguire during this transfer season. I can see that taking place in January. Maybe once I've said, hopefully we'll have new owners by then, and maybe they'll want to make a big, a big statement by selling Harry Maguire and grabbing a couple other players. So I'm not sure about Harry Maguire going this transfer season in the summer, but Scott McTominay most definitely. And why? Why would we get rid of Scott McTominay and Fred? Well, apparently it's super close with Amrabat. Sorry, hold on. My thing is pinging. Give me one sec. Amrabat seems to be very close. Apparently he's agreed personal terms. I reported on this yesterday, and He's not on the tour with Fiorentina, so he is looking for a move. He's turned down Liverpool. That makes us all happy, doesn't it? And wants a move to Manchester United. Now, it does require sales. It was the guy from Sky Sports, Darmesh, saying that we need to sell the likes of Brandon Williams, Fred, Scott McTominay, if we want to start getting these players like Amrabat. HOJLUND is fine. We'll be getting HOJLUND in the next week to 10 days or so, but anything after that will require sales. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times. So I think once at least Fred goes, maybe in the next week, coming days, I don't necessarily see I don't think Scott McTominay has to leave. I think if Fred leaves, we've already sold Tellez. It looks like Bailly is going as well. We've made some money there to start putting towards Amrabat. And I can already see Amrabat coming in as soon as Fred leaves because the deal does seem to be close, getting to that imminent stage from what I'm reading. Not sure if I'm completely buying it, but hey, I have to report it, right? So Amrabat looks to be on his way. We're going to have a total midfield overhaul this summer, and it's very exciting. It was interesting. It was a shame what happened to Kobe Mainoo last night in the Real Madrid game in Houston, but I'm sure he'll recover it. He'll get his chance when he does. But having him, a guy like Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Bruno, Eriksson, this is a total overhaul of what we've seen the last few years, and it's very exciting. But yeah, did you guys watch that game, by the way? We lost. I don't see it as a huge deal. We just aren't that great in the final third at the moment. But at least we got to see a bit of Andre Onana. Yeah, the first goal was offsides, whatever. But lovely chip by Jude Bellingham. What a gem that dude is. But yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of how things are going to work in the upcoming season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot more. I'm really looking forward to the Dortmund game. Now they've had one game under their belt. Maybe the next one will be even better. We'll see a few more things, especially from Andre Onana, and I want to see a bit more from our midfield. So anyway, let me know what you think. Comment below. Did you watch the game last night? Tell me what you think about Rasmus HOJLUND, Amrabat joining, and Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay maybe off to West Ham. But yeah, that's all I've got for you right now. I'll catch you all on the next video, which will be very, very soon. I'm all over the place at the moment. Anyway, later.